What's up guys? In today's video we're going to talk about every single problem that could be making your dryer not heat. This is not a not starting video. I did make a video on every problem that could not start. Check that video out right here. This one's on no heat. And this, for the type of machine we're talking about, is any dryer that has a filter that comes out the top. And that's also made by Whirlpool. Kenmore made a lot of the exact same ones. Crosley, Estate, Roper, Amana, and Admiral. I think that's all of them. Some Maytag as well. But before we start off, I usually always say to unplug, but the first thing we're going to check is to make sure we have the proper amount of power, so I still like to do this. So let's hit that intro. All right, everything we're checking is pretty much in the back of the machine, so we got to turn it around. First thing, we're going to take this plate off to check the power. All right, I'm going to give a quick crash course on how to check power. This particular tester is a cheap one from Walmart. And right there is power, and it will be automatic for 110 or 220. Some testers will have you flip it to the right spot for 110 or 220, but if you own a tester like that, I'm sure you know how to use it. All we're checking for is 220. And the center should be no power. That should be 110 and 110. Equaling between them 220 or near it, right there. If that is not equaling that, and it's equaling 110, or it will definitely not be equaling nothing. But if it's equaling half the power it should be getting, that means that one of these two legs has gone out. The reason for this could be several things. It could be the actual cord itself has gone bad between here and there, or the plug this goes into has a burned up terminal. I've seen that a whole lot. Your breaker could have gone half tripped, which is very common in breakers. Instead of a 220 breaker, both of them tripping, only one half will trip, making the dryer get half power. And when a dryer gets half power, it will run the 110 motor because the motor's 110, but it will not run the 220 heating element, making you think that something is wrong with the dryer when it's actually just getting half its power. All right, so now we're done doing that, so we actually are gonna go ahead and unplug. And we're going to do the rest of the testing with the machine unplugged. All right, now we're going to move our tester to testing for fuses. If your particular tester, you don't know how to do that, this one has a little beeping mode when it can hear a signal it's shooting from here to here to see if it can hear through. There we go. And it makes a little audible noise. Some testers will just say OL, and then when you touch them together, it will say 1. You're looking for 1, 1's good, OL bad. So we're going to go ahead and just test through the bottom of this guy. Top of this guy. That's sending a signal. Let's move on. We're just doing a quick test to figure out what's wrong. We're going to touch on that side of this heating element. We're going to test on this side, and that is a good heating element. It hears signal all the way through. Now we're going to check this high limit thermostat. Check from there to there. It's letting signal come through. And we're going to do a real quick check just to make sure it's not grounded out. Touching one side and touching the frame. Make sure that heating element didn't half pop when it's touching the frame. Check the other side and check the frame. We're good. Not a grounded out heating element. The next one we check is going to be right here. This is a fuse that will go out if it overheats, and this one is good. If yours is bad, I have an entire video on how to clean out the dryer. It's probably stopped up. That's usually why these guys blow. It's either stopped up in the dryer, or the exhaust hose going out is either kinked or stopped up, or it could be outside of your house. The little flipper has gotten stuck or full of lint. All right, the last thing is going to be the timer itself. So the knob that you turn to turn it to different cycles. Behind it is where the timer actually is located inside this panel. The symptoms for that being out usually will always be one cycle doesn't work and the other one works, Sometimes both will go out at the exact same time, but a lot of times the automatic hot cycle will never get hot, and the time cycle will sometimes get hot. That's a sure sign that something's going on with the timer if you have issues, and it's every once in a while will work. So let's take off this panel real quick and I'll show you how to check it. All right, I'm gonna pull the timer knob off. It'll just come straight forward. It's not screwed in or anything. It'll just come straight off. There's gonna be 2 screws, one on this side and one on this side. And sometimes there'll be clamps that you'll have to unhook on top and one on bottom that you'll have to squeeze, and you'll have to lift this whole compartment up to do that. I'll show you a quick video on how to undo that. Alright, and after you get those 2 screws out and timer knob, you can take this guy right out. And we're immediately going to flip this over and put this in our hands like that. Now, sometimes you can get to these Phillips heads that are holding this metal motor in real easily. And other times you'll have to take off this wire right here so you can get to it. And now I can get to that guy. There are ways to take a tester and figure out if it's working right, but I find those ways not always accurate, because sometimes, especially if your timer's working intermittently, it will show you a false reading of working. And to me, it's so much better just to open up this timer and see if it's just burned up inside. And you can get to it by undoing this screw and just keep turning until you hear a click and you know it's gone far enough, and doing the same thing with the screw on the opposite side. And from right here, I'm going to try not to drop those screws, and also don't let this plate fall out from underneath you. But you need to pick this motor up and out of the way. And now, very important, don't let that plate fall. We're going to flip it over so the plate doesn't fall out. All right, and now we're back to safe. We're just going to take this plate off. And here's what we didn't want to fall out with these little pieces. And if you did drop it, this should be pretty close to what your pieces look like. You can kind of reorganize. Yours may be white. This is a newer dryer and they change colors. There will be a burned up spot, and this one, there will always be a little bit of a char on this one over here. I find, even when I'm checking these, this side will have a slight char, but the rest should not be charred. But the one that is charring over here is the one that activates the heating element. And when it burns up really bad, you'll know it. There will be some really bad ones that I've seen where this whole thing looks like it caught on fire and it'll be a little bit melted. To fix this, yes, you can, if it's possible, clean up that connection. I don't think it will work permanently. It may work temporarily until you get another timer in. But what I like to do, instead of fixing that at all that way, because honestly, that's not what the actual problem is. It's these plastic pieces are wearing down from this motor riding, or this timer riding around on top of them. And they're worn down. There's not much you can do about it, except for you can have it refurbished by a guy on eBay. And I'll show you a quick video I made. You can go to this video right here, and I'll tell you step by step how to have it refurbished from him for, I think, $30 or $35. Or you can order a whole new timer by using the model number of this timer right here. And I find that the E is very important, because that's usually where the stop points are. Will move around on some timers, and if you don't have that last letter, sometimes it's a little bit different. But you can sometimes take this piece out of the center and swap it into your new timer. But why would you do that if you're buying a new timer? Just make sure it's the exact right one. All right, so that's it for this. We're going to put all this back together. Alright, that's it guys. I hope this video helped. This is every single problem that could happen as far as heat going out in your machine. Again, I have tons of videos on repairing this machine. Check them out in the description below. Please like, please subscribe. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching guys, and please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Also, if you have any doubts the part you're going to get is the right one, check out the video I link in the description below. It will walk you step by step to use your model number to find the right parts. Also, check out the playlist on the right. It's every repair for this exact machine.